What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is a beautiful day here in San Diego, California. Today we've actually got a bit of a surprise for you. If you guys saw in the title of this video, it's true, we're building another twin-turbo Kia-powered DeLorean. So let's get right to it. So a little bit of backstory on how this whole project came to be. As you guys know, after we finished the first DeLorean that we did, we ended up selling that car, and not even 10 minutes after we sold it, the client that bought this car called us and said, hey, you know, I tried to buy your DeLorean, I wasn't able to, and I'd really like to have one built for me and my son. My son and I, you know, really enjoy the Back to the Future movies and love the DeLorean car and are super hyped on your project and how you guys built your car. And we'd love to have one. You know, for us, we already had another engine, which you guys can see up there, sitting on the shelf. So it kind of just made sense, you know, to build a second one, use the engine we already had. We already had some of the parts made, so we're gonna go ahead and do this, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it. So this is the new donor car. Here you guys can see Steve is currently working on taking this back panel off. It is not something that we're gonna be using. We pulled the engine out, and it's now up there on the pallet rack up on the top. We actually sold that, and that's going to be picked up on Friday. So what we're doing is taking some of the other stuff that we don't need that goes with the engine off, as well as the shift linkage that goes to the transmission that's on the back of it, and that's going to be sold with the rest of it. So I'll go ahead and show you guys some of the footage of taking the engine out. The old PRV engine and transmission got taken out. First things first, I'll show you guys that footage now. We got the bumper off, and now we're going to be taking off some of this radiator hosing over here. There was that little bottle over there for the radiator. Got that off. Once we do that, we'll probably drain all the oil and start taking off all of this stuff so that we can get to the engine and get the engine out of the car. So now that we've got the engine and transmission out of this car, it's time to get this engine bay all cleaned up. You know, take off the old engine mounts, get everything off of the subframe here in the back so we can start to work on getting the new engine and transmission lined up and situated in the car. Again, in this car, we are going to be using a Kia Stinger 3.3 liter V6. We love this engine. It actually is a great engine. The entire idea with this project is to build, you know, a very similar car as far as engine and transmission setup, but allow the new client to kind of customize it color-wise and change some things. There'll be minor changes in how we build it, things that we learned from the last project. You know, anytime you build a car, there are things you learn along the way, things you wish you could improve on once you're done. So we'll be doing that with this car, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it. A DeLorean fun fact for you guys for today. Most DeLoreans will actually have the frame number written on by the manufacturer. This car has frame number 6920, but because DeLorean, as we all know, was not the most prestigious car manufacturer, the frame often didn't match the actual VIN. So the VIN on this car is 6915, where the frame number is 6920. The last car was only one number off at 3701 versus 3700. But this car is a whole 5 numbers off on the frame versus the actual VIN. So probably the biggest noticeable difference with this car is it is a gray interior car. The last car had the black leather option. This is the gray leather option. Personally, I actually quite like this color scheme. I actually think it looks really good in this car. We are still going to be changing the seats in the future, most likely. So you guys will see that when that time comes. One of the really awesome things about this car is it is a 7,000 mile car. You guys can see there. So it is a super clean, super nice car. One of the cleanest and nicest interiors I've ever seen on a DeLorean. So Steve is also going to go ahead and just pull both seats out, get them out of the way so we can continue to work on. You can see in here, he's got this back panel off. That'll allow him to get that panel off, which he already has done. We're going to give that panel as well as a couple other things to the buyer of the engine. Things that we won't need that just take up space here anyway. So this car was like a nearly perfect example as Steve pulls out the driver's seat of the car. The only thing that was really wrong with this car at all was that the engine was not working. It was a non-running car that clearly hadn't run in multiple years. But that didn't really matter to us, seeing as we were just going to take the engine out first things first. And the only other thing was that the headliner was falling off. So we will have to have that redone at some point. But other than that, you know, this car is an absolutely beautiful car. And we are really excited to be able to work with something that is this nice and be able to build something that hopefully is, you know, an improvement on the last car. So the last thing we're going to work on getting out of the car today is taking the shift linkage out. We're going to give it to the customer that's buying the engine and transmission that were out of this car. This is the original shift boot and shift knob, and then the shift linkage, of course, is underneath it. Again, in this car, we're going to be using the Porsche G96.01 transmission, and then using, you know, a custom shift boot and the shift knob from that car. So that's the plan with that. So this is the original DeLorean shifter. If you guys will remember, we ended up using a Porsche gearbox with the Porsche shifter and the entire Porsche shift mechanism. Funny enough, because it's a DeLorean, to get the shift linkage out that is under here, you have to take the center console at least off, mostly like this, so you can get to it. But this has to come off for us at some point anyways, so might as well just get it off now. There it is. Now we have full access to the shifter and the shift linkage that we'll take off. Steve went ahead and got the shifter out. There is the original shifter. We will not be needing that. We finished getting the shifter and all the shift linkages out and out of the way. Now we have more space for the Porsche stuff once we get that. We are currently still hunting for a G96.01 transmission that came with the LSD. We might end up just buying a transmission without an LSD and installing the LSD ourselves. We'll have to see on that. We're still hunting for one. So that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully you guys are excited to see a second DeLorean twin turbo build. I'm probably not going to have too many videos on this car since there's already been this same kind of build on the channel. If there is anything you guys want to see on this car, just put it down in the comments below and let us know. We'll see you guys soon.